Probably more the accountability thing versus deadlines. I'm good typically with deadlines.
Yeah.
But I have to say, during the year, I do massage my plan. I mean, you have to. It can't not be just perfectly set in stone.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Based on what's going on, right? And if I'm doing the job I should be doing, you're going to be massaging those plans. It could be even better than you were expecting.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely more of an accountability thing with myself.
Welcome back to another Workout Wednesday, everybody. We are here for the second week of October, and we have a very special guest with us, Wendy Patton, out of our Ponte Vedra office. So welcome, Wendy.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming on.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Happy to be here.
We can just go ahead and start out, and we can just have you tell us a little bit about yourself.
Okay. I've been in the real estate business for 17 years. Yeah. I started here a long, long time ago, got my license in 1986, doing property management for Stockton Land Corporation. Then found myself in Tampa. I was in advertising. I did a lot of other things, but I always held on to my real estate license. Yeah. Ended up in Orlando in 2008, and I needed to do something. It was a rough time for our family.
Special time in real estate.
It was very special. So in order to keep my children from having their lives completely disrupted, I was finally able to use my real estate license to go into general real estate in Orlando in 2008 in the worst real estate market ever.
Yeah.
Became a great buyer's agent back then. We had over 26,000 properties on the market back then. It was pretty incredible. I learned a lot of things. I hope I never have to know again, like short sales and foreclosures. Those were very interesting times. So I've been full time in the real estate market or in the real estate business since 2008. Absolutely love it, and just really feel like it was what I was born to do. Yeah. So that's about it.
Yeah. Coming in during that time, and especially being now in almost 17 years of real estate, how has your knowledge through that time affected how you've approached the real estate industry?
Well, I had to move a lot. I had moved a lot as a kid. I have moved a lot as a married person. And the number one thing I think that all of that did for me was really give me empathy for people that are moving and relocating. Truly, in my soul, if I have a mom that has children and she needs shelter, I don't sleep until I find her that house. So I think it really has given me empathy for people that have to move, that have to buy a property or help meet their goals and whatever it is they're trying to do with their real estate.
Awesome. That's really, really, really good way to look at it. As someone with a huge wealth of knowledge in both real estate and Florida, how are you keeping up with market trends and dynamics in either the Jacksonville area or other areas that you do serve?
Yeah, so now I'm just serving Jacksonville, well, our Northeast Florida, right? If you look at my Zillow map where all of my deals have been, it's the whole Northeast Florida. It's everywhere. Of course, I serve probably the beaches more than anything. I think just being in those markets, I have people everywhere that I'm in touch with, that I do things with. I volunteer in different parts of Jacksonville and Northeast Florida. So I'm really trying to stay physically out in you have to be out, but I like to be physically out, meeting people, networking, all the things that I do. And that helps give me an understanding of markets. But for real specific information, I'm using our tools as much as possible. And the MLS is fantastic. Yeah. The Domo is also fantastic. I'm typically not a statistics-minded person, but when I do need to have those and everything that our company produces for us, we're constantly, if you don't have market knowledge, it's just because you're not looking very hard. I mean, our company is amazing with making sure that we have all that information we need.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Our topic for this month is business planning. How do you approach business planning for a new year whenever it comes around that time?
Well, I will be honest with you. This is not my favorite topic. In fact, I really beat myself up every year. I want to be better at this. I think maybe it's just not the way my brain operates. It's not the way my brain works, but it's extremely important. So approaching it, the first thing I do is I really look backward and say, okay, what worked this past year? What didn't work? Where do I need to cut things? Where do I need to add things or be open to adding things? And then I set my goals. And I start with my personal goals because that's what's going to drive my business goals. So that's typically how I get started with that.
Yeah. I think a good way I've always thought about it is, and it's kind of similar to how you do it, it's backward thinking and forward planning.
Right.
Seeing back about, especially with just like simple tasks too, I'll do it, like say just getting ready in the morning, I'll think, okay, I know I need to have this, this, and this, so why don't I go ahead and prepare that.
Always
prepare that.
looking
just so it
ahead.
makes it a little bit more efficient.
Yes.
And I think that's always kind of been like a good way just to look at stuff. It kind of just helps be a little more organized too.
Definitely.
So you kind of talked a little bit about how you set up your goals. How are you ensuring those goals remain a priority in your day-to-day activities?
Yes, that's tough, isn't it? So I write them down. If you have them with you, if they're right here in the beginning of my old-fashioned planner that I use, then I look at them all the time. If I have them typed in my phone, I'm not going to see them.
Yeah.
So they're always with me. This thing is with me at all times. And so I have them folded and I have them, in my planner. And they go along with my life goals as well. And so that I'm constantly looking at them. Yeah.
I like that you carry them around every day because one thing I didn't know this existed. I mean, obviously I know about people quitting their New Year's resolutions, but I didn't know there was a physical day designated. It was called, I learned a couple of days ago, Quitter's Day. It's like an actual day in January where it's like
I've heard
90% of people cut off on their New Year's resolutions. So I mean, it's good that you carry it around because hopefully you can like you said keep in touch with them every day. So it's really nice.
Yeah.
So you talked about a little bit how you're kind of keeping track of them. Do you feel better with kind of like deadlines for your goals, or that accountability check-in that you kind of have for yourself?
Probably more of the accountability thing versus deadlines. I'm good typically with deadlines.
Yeah.
But I have to say, during the year, I do massage my plan. I mean, you have to. It can't not be just perfectly set in stone.
No, yeah, absolutely.
Based on what's going on, right? And if I'm doing the job I should be doing, you're going to be massaging those plans. It could be even better than you were expecting.
Yeah.
So I would say definitely more of an accountability thing with myself.
Yeah, I think it's primarily because you can't see that far into the future. You can have an idea of how your year's going to go, but things happen, life happens, markets change.
Right.
Take this year, for example, how much it's changed from the start of this year to now October. So, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people's business plans have changed over that amount of time. So I think that's a good way to look at it.
Mine certainly has.
Have you found there to be any kind of strategies or tools that help you stay consistent with your goals?
Oh, goodness. Really getting back to Ninja 9 and getting back to Ninja.
Yeah.
Ninja program is so fantastic, but you have to use it. And I'm probably one of the worst. I get away from it, right? And you think, oh, I can do this without it, or what have you. And I think if you can get back to that, get back to the Ninja 9. I have my big workbook that I got in Ninja. I like to still make reference to those pages in there when we talk about this sort of thing, when we talk about our life plans and goals. So a lot of times I'll just try to get back on track with the basics, the real basic stuff.
I think it makes me think too what Dr. Alex Stewart was saying today during Company-Wide.
It was great.
How he talked about perspective, how you can get so zoned in on one part of anything, business, life, personal stuff. And if you simply just kind of zoom out some, you can see the full perspective of it, and you can kind of understand that it might not be as bad as you're thinking.
Right, get the whole picture.
Yes,
yeah,
absolutely.
I agree. He did a really great job today. It was great to have him there.
Yeah, that just popped in my head, so it was kind of a nice little sidebar.
Yeah.
How are you incorporating relationship building into your business planning, and do you think it's important for real estate agents to focus on this aspect?
Well, 100%. It's the business we're in, period.
Yeah.
So part of my plan every year, and I really learned this in our EEE class.
Yeah.
And I'm really happy to keep doing it. Is I'm setting up lunches, I'm setting up coffees, and for some reason I used to feel like people didn't want to do that. They didn't want to. After the deal was done, why would they want to have lunch with me, right? Yeah. But you do make relationships when you're working with people, especially in real estate. We spend a lot of time with them, getting to know them, which is also hard for me to say goodbye to them after the deal is done. That's a hard thing to do, but just really focusing on that. So in my goal planning is how many lunches I'm going to do, how many coffees I'm going to do a week or a month or what have you, how many phone calls I'm going to make to people and what I'm going to say. I like to try to think about that because that always seems to stump me. But yeah, so just doing that, staying out, like I said, networking. Yeah. I think networking is, because I was in advertising sales for many years, I had to network. That was part of my job. Yeah. And so it's just become ingrained in what I do. So finding things, causes, charity work, what have you, just business networking groups, just to start forming relationships. It's huge. Yeah. If we don't have relationships, we really don't have a business.
Very true. As you are heading towards 2025, have you had a chance to think about any goals that you want to set for yourself?
Well, yeah, absolutely. And I have plenty that I haven't hit. So I carry them over. You just carry them over, which has been hard for me over the years to see a goal that's been unmet, right? But we just have to carry them over and get over it. Yeah. But our business planning class, I'm looking so forward to taking that. And the fact that our company even has a business planning class, or they even talk to us about business planning, is humongous. I mean, this company is so great at making sure we succeed and giving us all the tools that we need to succeed. So I'm excited about getting into it. I always have penciled in goals, that I'd like to hit. I always have a particular number in my head that I want to see myself hit. I'm not going to hit it this year, but I'm going to do the best I can to hit it next year. Yeah. So that's kind of how I'm always thinking of goals in my mind of what I want to do, what I want to achieve, what I want to accomplish. So always in the back of my mind. Yeah.
I love the glass half full mentality.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah. So even though you haven't hit it, you're still going to,
I will. It's just win.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. Final question. What advice do you have to other agents about anything in real estate? It could be business planning, and it could be to new or an experienced agent.
Wow, I just do it. I mean, that's the biggest advice I have, and that's to myself too. Again, I'm not as consistent with it as I should be and would like to be. Get started doing it now when you're brand new. When I first came, the first thing I did was sit on the education portal and do the education, and one of those things was a business plan. And I thought, oh gosh, I have no business. What am I going to put in here? What am I going to put in these blanks? But if you get in the habit of doing it and put it on your calendar, time block it, the same time every year, you're going to sit down and put a business plan together. It's your business plan. Nobody's coming to look over your shoulder to tell you did a good job. There's no grade. It's just for you. And I think sometimes, I know myself, I get hung up on, am I doing it right? Yeah. I don't really think there's a right or wrong way to do a business plan or set goals. Yeah. I think if you just do it is the first step, and then go from there.
Very, very true. I think, too, even outside of real estate, people can get so caught up with just the vast array of things that they have in front of them, and I think it's very overwhelming. But I think even my dad's told me about this. He's like, if you have just a ton of stuff on your list that you need to do, he's like, if you sit there and worry about it, that list is only going to go big, larger and larger and larger. So, I mean, you just need to start with one thing, and that builds momentum, and you get 2 things done, 3 things done. I mean, eventually this list starts to dwindle. So I think that's really good advice, is just do it.
Exactly.
I mean, it's simple as that.
One bite at a time.
Yeah.
Right? That's how you eat an elephant.
Well, thank you really for coming on. It was a great conversation.
My pleasure.
So you had nothing to be worried about?
Yeah, way less. Woo! I wrote way more details than I needed to. Thank you.
Awesome.
That was good. That was easy.
That will do it for our Workout Wednesday video this week. I will have Wendy's social media accounts pop up on screen during this video, so if you saw them already, be sure to go give her a follow. We will be back next week for another special guest, so until that time, take care.